You know, life with Christ is unexplainable. 60 years I've known this Christ. I wish that I could say that I'd never give him any problems, but I can tell you he's never given me any. If I'd have been as faithful to him as he has been to me. But you don't mind if in this lifetime, along this way, my wife and I, we met Christ in 1949. And our son was born in November of 1948. Our daughter, October, but in October 1949, the girl was born. But we were born again in January 1949. A wonderful day of life. And from that moment, Christ became to us everything. We never, back in those days, there was no looking nowhere, no nothing. And about 4 times along this trail, I've come to a point of death where it was over with. We both knew it. Back in 1952, Brenda was or 51 maybe, all about 2 years old, 18 months. I become very ill. I was working, wasn't a preacher, and I just dwindled away to nothing. I turned the color of a pasty yellow, and I'd get up in the morning to go to work, and I'd say to my wife, I just cannot go. And she'd say, you cannot stay. You must go. Not because she was worried about the job, but she said, if you ever give in, if you ever give in. So I went. Finally, I come to a point, the old doctor that birthed Brenda, Dr. Miller, was a great old family doctor, a great friend. And I told her one morning, I said, I'm going to go make an appointment. I'm going to go and let him examine me, just find out what's wrong. We'd never even thought of a doctor, all along, whatever come, we believe Christ. I went over there, and when I walked in his office, he said, I'm going to put you in the hospital. I said, no, I'm not going to the hospital. Oh, yes, you must, he said. I'm looking at death. Or words comparative. I said, look, doc, I'll go home, but I will not go to your hospital. So he examined me all day. All day he kept me in that office. I drank stuff laying down that you can't swallow standing up. It was an awful day. But I got home that night, and our policy was, growing up, that every night, no matter what time I got home, we got home, wherever we sat down with those babies, and I read a chapter out of this Bible. We begun in Genesis, we'd go all the way through the Bible. Well, that night had come, we were in 2 Chronicles 15, I believe it is. And as I read, it said, Asa was diseased in his feet. And he went to the physician and he died. I said to my wife, I'm a dead man. I said, I'm a dead man. I've just absolutely. But the next morning I woke up well. I just woke up well. Don't know what it was to this day. Never went back to get the test. Well, when we come to the city in 1956, and we were building that first church, I had only 4 or 5 men. I'd work all day, and they'd come help me at night. At that time, that's around 57, the beginning, they'd come help me at night. But I become very, very ill. I hemorrhaged. I just lost weight, but every night I'd go into that bedroom, I'd clean up, and I'd pray to God, don't let me die till I've finished this building. I don't want to leave something here mocking me when I'm gone. But I come in one evening very sick, and I knelt down by that bed. I began to pray, and I started that little old pitiful prayer, and it just come to me. I'm not building this for somebody else to preach in. I'm going to preach in it. And the Spirit of God rose up in me, and I was healed that night. Just absolutely. healed that night. Well, before that, you know about, I had the experience with my heart when I first began to preach. I had 3 massive heart attacks. The second one they pronounced me dead. We never went to a doctor. There was a nurse there. But I went to that hotel, and the 9th night, Christ came and healed this heart. Well, a few years ago, quite a few back now, I took a physical examination. I had to because we were borrowing money here at the church, going to do something, I don't know what. But I went over, the old doc examined me, and I had to leave. And Monday, I had to go to Atlanta to preach. Always when I got there, I left on a Monday morning. When I got there, I always called my girl. And I called her and told her I was there all right, and she was crying. And I said, what's the matter with you? And she said, that doctor called and said, you have a very, very serious heart disease, that you must do nothing. You must come home. I said, I can't come home. I got to preach till Saturday at noon. She said, no, he said, don't do anything. But I did. I preached on till Saturday at noon. Then I went there Monday to see him. And he said, I'm sending you over to the Baptist hospital to get a treadmill, one of those, what do you call them? Yeah, that's, well, when I got over there, they said, well, we're going to take one laying down first. When they took the one laying down first, they said, no way we'll put you on a treadmill. We don't know how you got over here, is about what they said. I said, well, what's wrong with me? They said, you're 90% or better blocked all over. There's just no blood. Don't know how you're going. I went back over and told the doc, and then he showed me how on his EKG, at a normal one, you have a heartbeat, then you have this, then you have a heartbeat. He said, these curves are blood. But he showed me mine is like this, and it's straight across. And he said, I just don't know how you're going. So he offered me something to help me. He said, what you need done I cannot do, but I'll offer. Well, when I got off the elevator, I threw that in the garbage, called my wife. She said, what is it? I said, it's all right. Never had a doctor for 8 years. And he said, I've never saw a better vascular system in a human your age. I mean, still today, my cholesterol about 196.7, blood pressure is 124 over 32, something like that. But since that time, it's been wide open.